families and friends, supporters and loved ones, you are here with us right here inside the music. You information and inspiration from artists that have done everything in the music business. And we are here to bring you stories about their music journey right here. From Las Vegas to the East Coast, I am your host, TC Storm Caldwell, here with KC Cousins and the one and only Mr. Vegas himself, Don DC DaCosta. This week's guest is a family friend of the show, Daddy Thomas from CONFUNKSHUN.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the well-known iconic people of the funk music and everything else, known as Mr. Danny A. Thomas, former original member of CONFUNKSHUN. What's up, Mr. Thomas?
Hey, how we do, man? Everything is wonderful here. It's good to be on the air with you again, my brother.
Always a pleasure to see you, my brother. Varying from what we did the last time you and I were together, right now you've got a book out, which actually is an expansion of things because your wife also has a book out. So explain to us what your book is about.
Okay, I would love to. First of all, right now I'm in Northern California, in Vallejo, California, my hometown. I'm doing a book promotion and book tour. We're doing bookstores from Sacramento, California to Pittsburgh, California to Fairfield and whoever else we can get. My book is basically, the title of it is My Life and Fun Times with CONFUNKSHUN. And it tells the beginning, but it tells my life story, which actually includes the CONFUNKSHUN story. It talks how I first started playing piano at 3 years old. You know, talking about my family. So I'm a father. If it wasn't for my family, my mother and father, it wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be no me. So I give my mom, father, grandparents, the grandfather who I'm named after. I talk about him because he was very special in my life, along with my sisters and brothers. And then I talk about high school when the group originated.
Well, Danny, was anybody else in your family musically inclined?
Yes, yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, my sister was a musical genius. She graduated from Fisk University, Rhodes Scholar at 16. That's one of the reasons my family was, encouraged into getting me started in music early, because they thought I had it too, which she was a musical genius. I had to work hard to get it, but eventually it sunk in and I caught on to it, right? So it was a blessing. But it was yes, like I said, the book is a living testimony. It tells from the beginning to the present. My wife as well, her book is When Girls Cry. It tells her autobiography, but she has a 5-part series, and it tells this first book about her childhood, because she was kind of like her parents died. Her mother died when she was very young. She didn't know her father, and she was passed around through family members, and just how a little child reacts. She cried a lot. Why couldn't she have her mother? And so she knew her mother from a small age, but she died when she was about 1 or 2.
Well,
so it's a very heartfelt book as well.
Well, without giving too much away of the book, okay, exactly what is it that the book goes into? Does it go into the good times that was what you had with CONFUNKSHUN? Does it go about the songs that you wrote with CONFUNKSHUN that garnered you awards, such as Grammy Awards for it? And does it say, without getting too much, so because we want the people to go and buy the book, does it tell the reason for the breakup between you and CONFUNKSHUN?
It tells everything. It's an all-inclusive story. And, you know, I don't really throw anybody on the bus, but I'm frank, I'm for real. You know, the book members, my band members I got their approval on the book, but since they're in it, and I talk about them, they all are in agreement with the book, and they endorse the book as well. But I tell the story, like I said, I still, as only myself and one other person can, by me being an original member of the group, from the beginning until the present.
Okay, good. I mean, this should make people interested in wanting to go out and purchase that book. In that book, do you divulge your reasoning, because it's something that we'll get to later on in the program? You did a musical tribute to Dr. King.
Yes.
You and I were together on another program called Brother My Brother, and we brought you on and we played that video. In the book, does it have the reason that you actually did that tribute to Dr. King?
Yes, the book actually do touch on that, as well as the reason why I wrote the book. As far as, you know, the Martin Luther King Free the Dream tribute to Nelson Mandela, President Obama as well. That is very personal to me in my life. I plan to promote that book for the duration. You know, there will be different versions of that concept as time goes along, because the message, the basic message behind the book is to keep the dream alive. Okay, because these young folks today, you know, due to public school system, everything, a lot of the meaning of, you know, what Martin Luther King stood for and everything is still being lost. These young folks, they are not, they're still fighting, they're killing each other, you know, because the parents are so busy just trying to survive and work. They can't spend as much time with the children. So the streets have gotten hold to some of the children, the kids, young adults, and everything. So, you know, I'm trying to let the folks realize our heritage and what we're about as a people and what we need to do. You know, that Black Lives Matter and all that, it's all the same. You know, we all in this thing together, and we must get it together so we can, you know, maintain and continue to progress in society and this world.
Another thing is, as long as you've been in this musical business, and I know for a fact, you know, this guy over here to my right, who has been in the business for quite a while too. And he fails to realize that during one of these shows, he's gonna get dragged up in here and he's gonna be a musical guest. He keeps trying to fight it, but he's not getting away from it. He doesn't understand it. So for now, I leave that alone. But during the time that you've been in this business, who are some of the other artists and bands that you've had a chance to open for and work with?
Oh, well.
Y'all did everybody, man.
Man, just about everybody. When we first walked up, we opened up for Commodores. We left that tour, went to the OJs, left that tour, went to the Funkadelic, Bootsy, Parliament Funkadelic. He stopped saying that. And it goes on and on. We were fortunate to work with one of the best promoters, which actually became our managers, Taurus Production. Clarence Jones, bless his heart, he's departed right now. He's not here any longer, but him as well as Quentin Perry.
Yeah, they used to,
Production.
yeah, they we used to work with Clarence. Clarence ran he had Frankie out there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's because that's how we got hooked up with you guys, through Clarence.
Exactly. You know, because when we signed with Clarence Jones, a promoter being a manager was supposed to be quote unquote a conflict of interest.
Right.
But Clarence, being the businessman that he was, and we're so close, we decided to go that route because we knew that he had our best interest for us. And it was so successful. I talk about this in the book, as a matter of fact. It was so successful that he started working with Frankie as well. And
yeah.
And he was so busy that it almost broke up his marriage because he had Taurus Production, he had CONFUNKSHUN touring, as well as Frankie. And he had no time at home, man. I talk about it a little bit in the book, bless his heart. You know, I will say you this. He told me something that I'll never forget. And this is for all the listeners that might be listening, and that will be listening. He said, it was New Year's Eve, and we were celebrating here at the West Coast. And I called him to holler at him, wish him Happy New Year and everything. And he was on his way to the hospital because he just put his hands to the wall. And I believe that he probably did that to keep from hitting his wife because they were in a heated argument. You know, that's just my speculation. But he told me, he said, this is what he said now. Success do not bring happiness.
Yeah.
I said, wow.
Yeah.
You know? I said, everything can be clicking just fine, but something, might be missing. So, I mean, that's not in every case now. Okay, but you're just saying that in all cases, success don't necessarily have to bring you happiness sometimes. You got to find happiness in yourself as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brother, wonderful brother, man.
Yeah, that's how we ended up meeting you guys when I was with Baby Brother. Clarence put us on the front of all you guys, on the front of your tours, on the front of Frankie's tours. Who else was he running? He was running you guys, Frankie, Beverly, and Mays. He had somebody else. Who was it?
I can't remember. I know he had Frankie.
Yeah,
you guys.
Yeah.
But he was busy. It was busy.
Yeah,
I know we produced a clip. I know he worked with Click a little bit.
Yeah, we learned a whole lot when we got a chance to work in the studio with you and Felton.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We got a chance to learn a whole lot, learn how to write songs the right way. You can have a killer groove, some smoking lyrics, and your arrangements suck, and it just don't make it.
That's right.
It's just the little things, the little things that make the difference.
Exactly.
So Don, you were telling me about this this track that Danny had, tribute to Martin Luther King.
Yeah, it's not actually a track. It's actually a video, which is a very poignant video. If you see all the things that are involved in this video, which is great because it shows the struggle of why he had that dream. It shows the struggle of the people here in this country struggling for the rights that allocated for everyone, yet not always given to everyone. And then he also went to the apartheid nation of South Africa, where they had their difficulties too, uh, which was what made this so great. And then the people that are in it, it not only has Martin Luther King, it also has, you'll see Malcolm X in it. There's just a lot of different people that who's fought this struggle and continue to fight this struggle in this video. But it is a tribute to Martin Luther King because that's actually where the dream started.
Okay, I tell you what. Let's hand it over to TC. Yo, TC, take it away, player. Let's watch this video.
Thank you for the handout, Brother KC. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, please tune into this wonderful tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Free to Dream by Mr. Daddy Towers.
You saw so much poverty, racism, inequality. You just couldn't stand to be quiet about it all. You accepted your call, proud to fight through it all. You didn't shrink, you stood tall until the very end. Now when they speak your name, they speak of the change that came. The fight was your claim to fame, but humble you remained. Now we celebrate on a special day, because you fought to make your people free.
we back. Okay, that's very compelling. I mean, the power of music and music videos is so incredible. I mean, like, we need more positive videos. I mean, because like right now, we know how much the videos have influenced, like you were talking about, the black on black crime and the crime in the streets. We know that's like, a lot of that is perpetuated strictly off of the videos, because a lot of kids don't live in that neighborhood, you know?
Well, one of the things that's exclusive and very poignant about this particular video is, like I said, the people that are in it, but it also shows that we've come so far, but we haven't gotten to where we want to be and where we need to be. So it's a matter of this struggle continues. And one of the things with Danny is, there's been more than one video that Danny has done of this tribute to Martin Luther King. As time goes and as things perpetuate themselves, Danny makes another video and adds to this video. So this is one of the things that is so wonderful about your video, is that it doesn't stay where it started. It perpetuates itself and continues and shows some of the improvements that were made, but also shows is much of the improvements that have been made, enough of those improvements are not sufficient. So in there is the genius of Mr. Danny A. Thomas.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Danny, how long ago did you start this project?
Well, it was initiated in 1999.
Wow.
And as far as every year, I promote it for his celebration, for his birthday, Black History Month, every year since then. You know, I might take, for some reason, if I'm out of the country or something like that, I may miss a year here and there. But I've been promoting this concept since 1999. And since then, I have remade the song and updated the song at least a half dozen times.
Yeah.
You know, and so this has been and each time it gets better. So I'm just about fine tuning it. My next one, I might add a choir to the song.
Okay.
And Danny knows I've had fights over that song and over that video. Danny knows when I headed a record label by the name of Unisoul Records, we put that video out. And when it was sent to the distributor, it was brought back to me by the guy that owned the label. And he said to me, the distributor doesn't want to put this video out and distribute it. And I said to him, why? And he said, because Obama is in it and they consider it to be a political jolt to the Republican Party because Obama's in it. And I laughed and I said to him, are you crazy? I said, first of all, Obama's not even president anymore. So what the hell does that have to do with the price of cheese? And he said, well, they don't want to do it. And my thing was, well, guess what? They're not the only damn distributor on the planet. And they even asked, they wanted Danny to cut a lot of what Obama was in it. They wanted to cut the amount of time he was in it. And I told Danny, and it was stupid because the people in it, Obama, Martin Luther King, all of these people were in it because of the fight that they were doing for people of color's rights. And they wanted to make it a political statement as opposed to why Danny actually did it, because of it was Martin Luther King's dream. And these are the people that fought for equality, and they wanted to make it a political view.
Yeah, well, we all know that when the truth comes to light, if the individuals in charge can pull the shades, they will. I just dropped it like that. You know what I'm saying?
They tried, believe me, they did. And it became a thing of discrepancy between me and the guy that actually owned the label. So it was what it was.
It was just political, but we didn't let it go. We didn't let that happen though. We fought because the song, the message of the song, the way it's designed, you can't cut nobody out. Everything is there for a reason. You know what I mean? So, you know, they had to let it go. They had to let it do it.
Yeah, because in that video shows the struggle that we had and what Nelson Mandela had over in South Africa with apartheid. So, I mean, it was a collective message about what we faced as people of color all around the world. And you had the prominent people in there. Like I said, there's even a picture in there of Malcolm X. So,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's displayed.
Well, they weren't threatened because all the other ones, everybody else you named was dead. They don't mind so much showing pictures of martyrs, you know, but a living individual still casts a chill.
Well, one of the problems was based upon the fact that with Obama being in it, you had a person in it that not only fought the struggle, but had been elected president twice. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's a great accomplishment. There's certain things politically certain people don't want to discuss. I mean, like if they can take that out the history books like they did with slavery, that won't be in the history books. Shoot, you wait long enough. Those 8 years will be gone. You wait long enough. They'll take that out the history book.
If we continue to sleep, they will.
Yeah, they'll take that out the history book. So, Danny, you said you were doing some work with some kids.
Yes, out of the Oakland School District, I've been doing a Zoom class from Atlanta. This during the pandemic because the school's been closed down. But I've been working with Culture Sheen and Miss Tammy. Miss Tammy is a school teacher that works in the Oakland School District. She's been working with these children and doing an amazing job. And so we did a project and they all did their version of what they got out of the song Free to Dream. And I mean to tell you, it was amazing. I got a couple of kids that spoken word, a couple of kids did things about animals and how people shouldn't, do harm to animals. Of course, everyone was talking about because we had some different nationalities. We had the Latino, we had Caucasian, all types of different genres of individuals, right? So, and they came from their perspective as a fifth grader. And so we had a contest, and so we chose one of the songs, which we're going to choose out of the class several songs to go on the compilation that will be soon to release. But I've been working closely with the children, and it's been inspiring to me, and it's just been a wonderful experience to see what these children can do.
Man, that's sweet, man. I did a project years ago when I had my record label, Dodge City Unlimited. And we had a group that wrote a song, and then we took the song around to all the schools, and we had all the elementary kids draw pictures based on the song. And then it was a contest, yada, yada, raise some money. But that's what we got to do, man. We got to put in, we got to put in so we can get back out,
That's right. Especially with our children, we got to spend time with them and point them and keep them motivated. You know, let them know what's going on so they can keep the fight going. You know,
Well, you
because
spend a lot of time doing that because besides the school, you also spend a lot of time working for voters' rights down in Atlanta.
yes, indeed. You know, I'm proud to say that my wife and I, we were right there at the voters registration, involved in the voting, making sure that the votes are being counted, motivating people to come out and to help to turn Georgia blue, you know? And we did such a good job. You can see that the governor and everybody is trying to reverse everything that's been taking place right now. So
Yeah,
the fight is not over, man. We got to stay on point and make sure that we do not allow this to happen.
yeah. No, I mean, like, there's a political situation that's always going to be, uh, my father, when I was young, my father used to say different stuff that used to kind of bother me a bit. And one day he told me, everybody has an agenda, and I didn't understand it till I got older. But even myself, everybody, every individual has an agenda. Everybody has something they want to do, you know, and the people who are running their agenda is not the same as our agenda. Like you said, we can't sleep because every time we go to sleep, every time we think we made an accomplishment, there's so many other things that are going on that we don't even notice.
Exactly. So,
Well,
so
what else are you guys going to do down there in reference to the voters' rights? Because now there's a very big deal that the Republicans are trying to push to basically uh, eliminate in areas of people of color being able to vote. And being that Atlanta is one of the main places for people of color, what is that fight going to be like down there?
well, it's not going down in Georgia, but it's not because we on top of it in Georgia, but it's not Georgia, it's
Yeah,
Arkansas,
United
it's
States.
all over the place. It's the
Yeah,
whole nine states, the whole, because they see what is happening. They see the country people are waking up, and so they're trying to reverse those rights like they always do. Okay, so I'm watching very closely, and I'm just keeping the word alive, just keeping it going, telling people to be aware, see, take, watch out what is going on in these elections, and what these guys have a meeting on Sundays passing law.
Yeah,
And
right,
don't
right.
they just did that in
let
Texas.
nobody know. You find about it later the next week.
Yeah, you just had that change in
So
Texas.
exactly. So it's going on all over. So we have to really be aware and try to, and not try, but make a point to let people know because see, the power is still in the vote.
Well,
Okay,
you
they still
know,
got to. No,
you're talking about reversing rights. We really, at this point, a lot of people don't realize it, but for us, voting is still a privilege. It's not a right. It's not a law. It's not etched in stone. Our opportunity to vote is still a privilege,
that's right.
which is a scary thought, you know?
And then, your Constitution, us as Black people, we are still not counted as a total human being.
No,
They,
no.
I mean, like this whole system was set up not for us to succeed. It was set up to control us. Okay, actually to make sure we don't succeed. But that's neither here or there because there's, I mean, everybody else can come to this country and be successful. because you call a system, you work a system within a system. Okay, we have to come together as a people. We have to come together and work together, and and I mean, like Malcolm X had the answer. Okay, but they got rid of him, and my people don't really know Martin Luther King, Malcolm was very close,
Yeah.
and was on the same page. They just had different routes of going. But Martin was getting tired too. He wasn't. Martin wasn't. They went through a lot of battles. Got a lot of stones and stuff tossed at them. So, but they nipped their life, in the bud just when they was about to bust through. And when you start waking people up, that's when you become a threat. So, but the key is not, you can't have one person going to the mountaintop. Everybody have to go to the mountaintop. I say that James Brown, "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud," was a mental revolution, because when that song came out, everyone instantly became proud of their blackness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before that song, you call somebody black and you had a fire in your hand.
Yes, you did.
You were
Yes,
stressing somebody out. So,
yes, you did.
and that's what really got me. That's one of the things that got me motivated in music. I realized that music was a subconscious, universal, international communication language.
Yes.
You can reach multitudes of people through music, okay, in ways that other medias can't. So I was one of my purposes was to promote a positive message through my music and to try to reach people. So as well as that, so we're using all levels right now. It's all hands down. Let's get it.
I see my brother TC.
And if I may,
there you go. What's
going on,
man?
gentlemen? Yeah.
All right.
If I may, I just sat back listening. Hey, brother Daddy, good to see you as always.
Same here, my brother.
I listen to my brothers. I listen to my elder statesmen here, and there's a lot of what was said that has to be said. But this thing is an action time that we're in now. The time of talking about it is over. So it's good to see that you're boots on the ground and the other folks that are moving that are boots on the ground. But just to point out on a couple of things that were said, we need to come together. We never not needed to come together. But what's happening is because we have more than the generations that I have more than my father had. He has more than my grandfather had. He has more than my great-grandfather had, and so forth. We're not utilizing it like we used to, like what I saw and what y'all lived in the 50s, coming into the 60s, coming into the 70s. That sense of community is gone. We're trying to galvanize and get it back. But more than anything, more than all the talking we can do, what we have to do as a people is get our financial, economic, political footprint in order.
That's
See,
right.
what people are missing, that we can do everything that they're doing by talking about it, by walking it out. But if we don't have the financial, socio-economical foundation for it, we will never succeed, because above all else, that's their system. Their system, although political, is financial. Their basis, although political, is financial. Even with them, they hand the money down. We're the people, and just speaking generally, we are the people that spend and blow our money on everything, on everybody else, but yet we don't support each other's businesses like we did in North Carolina, like we did in Oklahoma, like we did in Alabama. We don't support each other's businesses. Somebody can sell us clothes, put a name on it, and charge us $250, and we go out, clamor, and break our necks to get it. But when somebody like myself or somebody I'm associated with is trying to sell you something for $50, you give them you give them this long drawn out dissertation of what am I getting? You get an interrogation of what did I get? What can I get for free? You didn't just ask, I'm not saying names because nobody's cutting checks, but you didn't ask them people, you didn't dare ask them people who charged you $300 for a belt for anything free. So once we understand our backing each other comes with that dollar sign, we have to invest into our communities, our time, our energy, and our money. As far as what you said about how the Constitution sees us, yes, brother, the Vote Writing Act is still not in place. It's still not the Voting Acts bill, but they keep going into Congress to keep extending it when we haven't mandated financially, politically, or socioeconomically that it be made into a law. The 3/5 compromise was saying that 3/5 of the slave population would be counted to help Southern Democrats to be able to vote and to win the elections that they were winning. So the misconception of us not being seen as a whole, man, we got to kind of change that. We have to do more research and really truly understand, because the 14th Amendment repealed that. This is why when we're talking about what we need to do politically, we need to start showing our interest and showing our device of the 14th Amendment, how it violates a class of people, how it doesn't put us as a people in the position that we need to be in. That's right now, that's kind of like my pet project is the 14th Amendment, because there's a lot of ways that the 14th Amendment is used against melanated people more so than non-melanated folks across the board. And we see it anytime that the LBGT community feels wronged by something, they go to the 14th Amendment. When the Mexicans was getting ready to get put out of America, they went to the 14th Amendment. So what we have to do is we have to start also teaching the point of why we need to come back together, because when we keep hearing 3/5 of a man, 3/5 of a man, 3/5 of a man, just think about that. You saying my two arms don't count with my head, arm, and other leg? No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that during that time of slavery, the 3/5 compromise took 60% of the slaves and counted them as a vote for whatever Southern Democrat to try to win out over the Northerners and the Republicans at the time who were trying to abolish slavery. But when they did the repealing of that via the 14th Amendment, that was taking that away. So it gave each person a vote. But the issue was the contradiction in the law. How were you a slave when it was against the law to know how to read, but now you have the right to vote? How do you know how to vote, read who you're voting for if it's against the law as a slave?
Yeah, see, but what you have to take in consideration is during that period of time when the document we're talking about, the Constitution, was written, we the people, we were not the people. You see, that's the whole thing. And that's what a lot of people get confused about. There's no confusion. That's what I'm saying, good brother. That's what I'm saying, big brother. There's no confusion there. We the people didn't apply to us, but every time they changed their own document, they gave us the tools we needed to go to use the document against what was going on and what was written previously. And this is why I'm saying a lot of people like to do the stuff when the lights are on, when the cameras are rolling, and like to throw that information out there. But we have to be mindful that we know this document when in its again, I tell people why when I learned better and I learned to stop celebrating July 4th as Independence Day, because the people that looked like me weren't independent, but these were people who were under oppression of another people that stood up, stood down, fought, and died to not be under oppression. All I'm saying is we have to take those tactics if we're serious. And that's not necessarily saying you got to kill people, but you have to be willing to put the sacrifice there to take the document that they're using to turn it upside down. But we will not do that. And we cannot do it because financially, our people are not supporting the right things, including each other. When we have aldermen, councilmen, people who are beginning to run as reps and legislators, we need to get behind those people when they come from grassroots organizations. There's more than one Senator Barack Obama out there. There's hundreds and thousands of them. I have a mentee who is now a state legislator who has an opportunity to impact the community the way he did when he was a youngster, now that he's an adult, and now that he's in the state capitol and has a voice for the people. But what we have to do is we have to stand
and get behind those people. And then we also have to put our money where our mouth is, because more than anything, it's the money and the financial fortitude that changes these documents to get us what we need. So you're absolutely right. At the inception of that document, it wasn't for us. But every time they make a change, we have to be smart to realize we were the genius people on this earth. Everything that Black folks, melanated people created, somebody else stole and monetized. They're doing that to this very day. So we have to learn to better monetize this system and the situation that we're in. This is why brothers like yourselves were able to be so successful, because you stopped letting other people control your purse strings. You took control of your purse strings. And like Brother Danny said, he gets to people in places where they're making these moves. And they have people, they got to go out and pound the pavement to bring people in. Y'all didn't become the legends and the successes that you are by not knowing when to put your foot down in certain instances and put your money where your mouth is. Now, what we just need is, like Brother Danny is doing in Atlanta, like y'all are doing out there in the West Coast, like I'm doing here, is we need to keep galvanizing more people, but we also need to take the documents. Because I tell people, you know, the people that know the Bible the best is the people that keep trying to tear the Bible apart and say that it's not what it's supposed to be. So that's how we have to be with these documentations. We know that they weren't for us, but we got to take them and know them so well that we can shoot down and tear apart everything that's in there so that we can use it to our advantage.
I'm a segue on that, on the purse strings, holding the purse string. I'm gonna bring this back over to Danny on the music game, on the publishing tip, bringing that publishing, that songwriting game, because like a lot of cats don't realize you can play music and make hit records and sell. But Danny, tell them what happened if it ain't yours.
Okay, let me say this. Let me open up by saying this. The music business is the most racist business in the world, especially here in the United States. Okay, when you leave the United States, there's no R&B, there's no pop, there's no country, it's just music. Okay, you go to your international station, they play everything. But here in the United States, you have pop music, you have have its own place. You have R&B, so-called rhythm and blues. Now, the rhythm and blues category is about 5% compared to the pop, whereas you have 5% of the radio stations, the market is 5% to the pop market. Therefore, the people to get a chance to hear your music on an R&B station is 5% to the pop and country western music and everything else. Okay, so they put you in a little corner, okay, and to control you. Then you have to know you have to understand the business of music, because the first thing, music business 101 is to copyright your music and start your publishing. Okay, if you don't know those simple things, but I talk about it in my book, okay, that you right back to working for the man, okay, and having your music taken as well, because a lot of people have their music copywritten, and overseas they'll go overseas and take your song and put it out and be making money on it. If you don't have the people to know how to go overseas and find out where your music is being played at and who's getting paid for it, you still getting ripped off today. And they're doing it just as much now as ever.
Yeah. Well, last week I spoke on the songwriters contract. You know, how at one point, not naming any record labels or companies, but how at one point I was under a 1-for-1 recording contract and a 5-year song contract, which seemed like they were the same until I realized that the 1-for-1 recording contract, that means I had 1 year recording with 4 years of options, whether or not the record company wanted to pick me back up and deal with me. At the same time, I had a 5-year songwriting contract that was retroactive, that had a chapter, a paragraph in it that stated, upon conception, you know, which means as the thought came into my head, it became the property of the record company. You know, a lot of cats don't realize the tricks in the game, you know, but I personally must admit, at this stage of the game has changed so much. I really don't know what's happening out here anymore. You know, it's a different game.
Yes, it is. And they try to take and it's a two-way street. See, like at first you had to go to the man to put a record out, but now you can be. That is old school now. The way to go is be totally independent, promote your own stuff, and bring people to you. Bring people to your own website. Bring people to your own music, and have them download stations direct from you. And they have all different companies out there to help you do this. Okay, to help you promote your music and everything. But it's a change now. But you have to get involved in the music business and know, and you got to get into it, know what you're doing.
The biggest change has been, just as you said, Brother Daddy, is that the artist has so much more control based on, and again, it's an investment. So
yeah,
as you said, you had to usually go to the companies, because again, I'm a tweener. I was between how it used to be and now you know how it is. So I was like you said, that's part of my story. I wouldn't sign a record deal, and some of the labels didn't want to sign my group because we owned 99% of our publishing. That was our bargaining chip, because we came in, no matter what we wrote, whatever was written was already owned 99%. Me, my brother, my sister, we each give up 8%. Everybody walks away with a quarter, and then we'll work from there after we do 2 records, and then sit down and do the long term. If you want to talk songwriting, that's a whole different conversation. But for me, being the son of a doo-wop singer, a son of someone that, you know, through the 50s, 60s, you know, and 70s, where I heard those stories, and I had all these, you know, uncles that didn't look like me, and hearing the different things. So my lesson is different. And now the thing right now, the game is more technological. So if you don't have the technology behind you, like you said, to get it out to the people, to bring people to you, the websites, you can do just like we're sitting here. Somebody puts some music on and you rap. That gets a certain number of people to follow you. You find a way to go somewhere, perform, get you a couple dollars, you meet somebody, you in the production studio with somebody. Now the thing is, are you a talent or are you a business person? See, I had to make myself a business person before they solely dialed in on me as a talent, because the beauty of the management at the time, whenever they would say, oh, okay, well, we really like you guys. We just want to talk to your manager alone. My manager would look over at me. He said, whatever he says goes. This is his group. I just manage the business on his behalf. But everybody didn't have that. You know, everybody didn't have that. So now it's really a technology game. Getting a lot of social media, a lot of being on here talking, you know, in a room by yourself or in whatever your surroundings are, and being visible. Now, a lot of times, unfortunately, talent doesn't count for much. And that's the difference of what's going on. Like, you guys were talented. You had skills as musicians.
Well, see, check us out. The difference is back then, you had to work your way through a crowd to get heard, to get your stuff out there. Right now, everybody and anybody is a producer now. Everybody who has a laptop at their crib is a producer now. But check this out, man. We're getting ready to have to wrap things up. You know, like TC, you got anything to add in or whatever?
I just want to say, as always, you know, first and foremost, Brother Daddy, it's a pleasure you are, I just from us talking before, I learned so much from you, and having that the honor of being in your presence and getting some of your knowledge. I just want to say thank you for what you did with the music, because that's some of the music that I learned how to rap to, and even though my father always say, man, you can't sing that good, he told me, he said, the reason I told you that you wasn't that good is because I didn't want you to get complacent. I always wanted you to keep pushing to be better. So I thank you guys. I thank you. I thank KC. I thank King Don for all of what you did to make what happened then beneficial for guys like me now. Because if I didn't have those experiences or learn from gentlemen like yourselves, no telling. I'd probably be one of the people like KC is talking about. You just got to give him a laptop. He swear he's a producer. No, I actually had to sit in the hot production rooms. I had to sit in the cramped studios. I had to sit with the stinky, stale food and beer and cigarettes and carries on. So I just want to say thank you. And thank you for what you do.
That's the joy of life, man. That's tell them, Danny, that's the good part.
But those that don't have that experience don't understand it. Like, they don't understand like how behind whippings made us better people. Nowadays, behind whippings is a psychological traumatic event. And it's like, no, that's discipline. Discipline builds character. Character gives you proficiency and efficiency in what you do. So
we're gonna talk about whooping kids on another episode.
But I just want to say thank you, Brother Danny, for what you're doing politically as well, and what you're doing in the community, because the kings and queens need to see the kings and the queens out here making moves like that. So I just want to thank you for joining us over here inside the music. And man, I know we're gonna be around, so I ain't gonna act like this the last time we're gonna see you.
For sure. I want to thank you guys for having me on, and let's do this again because we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah, hey Danny, what's the name of your book, man?
My Life and Fun Times with Confunction.
By Danny A. Thomas. What's the wife's book? What's the wife's book?
My wife's book name is When a Girl Cries.
By
Wanda Thomas.
Okay, by Wanda Thomas. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to throw it at TC so he can holler at our sponsor so we can get ready to get out of here, man.
As we all know, this episode. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. And as we all know, every single week, this episode of Inside the Music, the truth about the truth, is brought to you by Three Pharaohs Productions, of course, Move'emRadio.com, Studio 204-176, Source 3 Entertainment, and we cannot forget Stormy Weathers Entertainment. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another wonderful episode. And you make sure that you tune in when we have another special guest coming right up. Holla at your big homie, he always around with my two homies, KC Cousin and Don DC DaCosta. Talk to him, fellas.
Where you going, Danny? Say bye to the people, man, before you get up and walk out of here.
Well, love you, brothers and people. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Looking forward to talk to you again real soon.
As always, Danny, you know you have an open invitation, brother. So whenever you got something you want to come in and let us know and teach us about, we're ready to hear your wisdom. So don't make yourself a stranger.
Oh, for sure. I won't.
Peace.
All right, my brother. Peace.
All right.